Ever wondered how the United States came to be? Well, let's journey back to the start of it all. Picture a time when North America was a vast, untouched land filled with diverse indigenous cultures and stunning natural beauty. Then, in the late 15th century, explorers from across the ocean began to arrive. These were the first European settlers, seeking new opportunities and driven by a desire for religious freedom, economic prosperity, and the thrill of the unknown. Fast forward to the 17th century, and 13 British colonies had been established along the eastern seaboard. From New Hampshire to Georgia, these colonies were as diverse as the settlers themselves, yet they shared a common thread: a growing discontent with British rule. The colonists were becoming increasingly frustrated with being taxed without representation and having their civil liberties stifled. This simmering frustration eventually boiled over into what we now know as the American Revolution. The Revolution was a tumultuous period, marked by battles, sacrifices, and the indomitable spirit of those seeking freedom. It was during this time that a group of brave individuals, the Founding Fathers, dared to envision a different future. On July 4, 1776, they officially declared their independence from Britain, signing the now iconic Declaration of Independence. This wasn't just a document, it was a symbol, a beacon of hope, and a promise of freedom that resonated across the colonies. The signing of the Declaration marked a turning point in our story. It was a bold statement to the world that these united colonies were ready to stand as a nation of their own. The road ahead was fraught with challenges, but the United States was born out of a spirit of resilience and a fiery passion for liberty. And so, against all odds, the United States of America was born. A nation that began as a dream of freedom in the hearts of a few and grew into a beacon of hope and opportunity for many. A nation born from the courage and determination of those who dared to defy the odds and strive for a future of their own making. But the road to becoming a united nation was not an easy one. As the young country grew, so did its growing pains. Two major issues stood at the heart of its struggles: slavery and states' rights. These topics were so divisive, they would eventually spark the deadliest conflict in the country's history: the Civil War. Slavery, a brutal and inhumane institution, was deeply entwined in the economic and social fabric of the southern states. These states argued that the federal government had no right to interfere with their peculiar institution. On the other hand, northern states and abolitionists viewed slavery as a moral abomination that needed to be eradicated. The tension between these two perspectives became the kindling that would ignite the fire of war. Another contentious issue was the debate over states' rights. Southern states argued for a decentralized government where states held the power to make their laws and regulations. The North, however, favored a strong central government that could enforce national laws and maintain unity. As the clouds of war gathered, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were to be set free. Though the proclamation did not immediately free all enslaved individuals, it was a significant step towards the abolition of slavery. The Civil War raged on for 4 long years, from 1861 to 1865. It was a brutal and bloody conflict, but it had a profound impact on the nation's future. The Union's victory reaffirmed the power of the federal government and marked the beginning of the end for slavery. With the 13th Amendment's ratification in 1865, slavery was officially abolished, marking a major milestone in the country's journey towards equality. The Civil War was a turning point, setting the stage for a new era of change and growth. The battle scars would take time to heal, but the nation had taken a significant step towards becoming a more perfect union. The road ahead was still long and winding, but the United States was ready to face its future, now more united than ever. In the midst of change and growth, the United States found itself on the world stage. As the 19th century gave way to the 20th, the United States was in the throes of the Industrial Revolution. This period, marked by rapid industrial growth and technological innovation, transformed the nation's economy and society. The onset of factories, railroads, and mass production techniques led to the expansion of cities, the blossoming of a middle class, and a shift from an agrarian to an industrial economy. However, this progress was not without its challenges. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, and labor unrest became a common occurrence as workers fought for better working conditions and fair wages. Then, the world was plunged into chaos with the onset of World War I. The United States initially maintained a policy of neutrality, but by 1917, it had entered the conflict on the side of the Allies. This involvement marked a turning point in the nation's global role. The U.S. emerged from the war as a significant world player, with President Woodrow Wilson playing a key role in the formation of the League of Nations, a precursor to the United Nations. But the trials were far from over. In less than a quarter of a century, World War II erupted, pulling the United States into the fray once again. Despite the devastation, this conflict also had profound effects on the U.S., both at home and abroad. The war effort boosted the economy, ending the Great Depression, and led to advancements in technology and industry. On the global stage, the U.S. took on a leadership role in the creation of the United Nations and the establishment of a new world order. From the ashes of war, the United States emerged as a global superpower. And in the next chapter, we'll delve into how the country navigated the complexities of the Cold War and the fight for civil rights. But as the United States rose to power, new challenges emerged at home and abroad. In the wake of the Second World War, the United States and Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, marking the beginning of the Cold War. A conflict not fought with bullets and bombs, but with words, ideas, and the looming threat of nuclear annihilation. This era was also marked by a race to the stars, as both superpowers strived for supremacy not just on Earth, but beyond our atmosphere. The space race became a symbolic representation of this ideological warfare, a testament to the power of human ambition, fueled by rivalry and the thirst for knowledge. While the world's eyes were fixed on the stars, on the ground, a different battle was brewing. The fight for civil rights, for equality, was gaining momentum. African Americans, inspired by figures like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King Jr., were standing up against centuries of systemic racism and discrimination. The civil rights movement was not just a fight for legal rights, but a fight for recognition, respect, and the basic human dignity denied to so many for so long. This was a time of sit-ins and marches, of powerful speeches and peaceful protests. A time when ordinary people became extraordinary heroes, risking their lives for the promise of a better tomorrow. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were landmark victories. But the struggle didn't end there. It continued, and still continues today. The Cold War era was a time of great tension, but also a time of monumental change. It was an era that saw humanity push the boundaries of what was possible, both in space and on the ground. It was a time that challenged the very ideals upon which the United States was founded: liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness. These struggles defined an era, but they also paved the way for progress. From its humble beginnings to its rise as a superpower, the United States has undergone significant transformation. As we ventured into the late 20th and early 21st centuries, America found itself at the forefront of a technological revolution. This era was marked by the birth of the Internet, a groundbreaking invention that changed the world as we know it. No longer were we confined to our own geographical boundaries. The digital age had arrived, and with it came endless possibilities. The advent of the Internet sparked a wave of technological advances. Social media platforms sprouted, connecting people across continents in real time. E-commerce thrived, transforming the way we shop and do business. Streaming services emerged, revolutionizing the entertainment industry. In essence, these innovations redefined our daily lives, making the world a smaller, more interconnected place. But this digital age was not without its challenges. Cybersecurity became a crucial concern as hackers and cybercriminals sought to exploit the vulnerabilities of the Internet. Privacy issues arose as our personal information became increasingly accessible online. The digital divide widened, highlighting the gap between those with access to technology and those without it. Simultaneously, the United States experienced the effects of globalization. Economically, we saw the rise of multinational corporations and the shift towards a more integrated global economy. Culturally, we witnessed an increased exchange of ideas, traditions, and values, enriching our understanding of the world and our place in it. Yet, with globalization came new challenges. Issues like climate change, economic inequality, and global pandemics demanded international cooperation. The United States, as a global superpower, found itself at the helm, navigating these complex issues while striving to maintain its influence and uphold its values. As we look to the future, we continue to see the United States evolving, just as it has throughout its history. Each era brings its own set of challenges and opportunities, and the digital age is no different. The United States, with its spirit of innovation and resilience, continues to adapt and evolve, ready to face whatever the future may hold.